Okay, now we're trying to find the tangent at 7 pi over 6. Well, just thinking 7 pi over 6 is down here in quadrant 3. And the coordinates should be root 3 over 2, 1/2. It's quadrant 3, so they're both negative. Again, I could just look it up on my unit circle. Here is 7 pi over 6. Negative root 3 over 2, negative 1/2. The issue is I asked for tangent. And for tangent, all you need to know is that it's the sine divided by the cosine. And that makes total sense because if we simply use SOHCAHTOA trig, where the radius was 1, sine was y over 1, cosine was x over 1. So tangent is y over x. So that's sine over cosine. So what I would do is I would take my sine, negative 1/2, put it over my cosine, negative root 3 over 2. Now we need to deal with the division of fractions. So that's negative 1/2 divided by negative root 3 over 2. To divide fractions, we multiply by a reciprocal. So negative 1/2 times negative 2 over root 3. So that becomes positive 2 over 2 root 3, which would be 1 over root 3. Remember, just like with the root 2 stuff, I could write this as root 3 over 3. Okay. In our last example here, we're going to go to negative 2 pi over 3. So now we're counting backwards. So there's 1 pi over 6. There's 2 pi over 6. 3 pi over 6. Here's the 4 pi over 6. That's negative 2 pi over 3. So I'm really looking at that angle, which is the same thing as 4 pi over 3. So on your unit circle, if you look that up, you're going to be at negative 1/2, negative root 3 over 2. We asked for the sine, so that's the y value. So your answer should be negative root 3 over 2. Again, completed unit circle. 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, 3 pi over 6, 4 pi over 6 is negative 2 pi over 3. Same thing here. So there are my answers. Cosine would be negative 1/2. Sine, negative root 3 over 2, which is exactly what we said.